All right, so the first discussion that you're going to encounter in the tribal religions module is on creation stories and classifications. So what you want to do is summarize a tribal story about the creation of the world or the creation of humans. You may use any African, Native American, or the Gagaju. Assess the story based on terms we used in the introduction module. So, and for response posts, respond with your thoughts on the story, continue discussion on it. Part 2, share why you agree or disagree with your classmates on the assessment, continue discussion, offer possible other classifications. All right, so I want to show you something. If we go over to, there we go, the tasks in the workbook for tribal religion. So task 2 was just asking you to mention an ultimate power. For the Gagaju, you could use any of the deities mentioned, whether it is the notion of dream time as an ultimate, whether it is Injuanjua. If you can't spell it, just put INJU. I know who you're talking about. Marawudi, the white-breasted seagull. And yes, I'm giving you some answers right now. You can use them, but I'm also asking you to elaborate and tell me from the first module what term you would use. Cherokee, Hopi, Navajo. If you go into the textbook, you will find examples of ultimate powers or something of the ultimate. Same for the Yoruba. You can also, as I showed in the previous video, look on the learning resources page. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about the discussion, creation stories and classifications. Haha, right here, task number 3. What are 2 examples of creation stories, be it the world or humans? List the tribe and what the example is. For each example, share in your own words how the example might help us to classify, organize, or understand the religion. Summarize a tribal story about the creation of the world. So here you're doing 1. Here you're giving me 2. Can you use what somebody else provided? Yeah, that's fine. The purpose of the discussion is to help you with the task. The purpose of the task is to help you with the discussion. If this was an on-campus course, this would be a discussion you were given the night before to research your answers to, and then the next day you'd come in, get in small groups, talk about it, put your own answers on your workbook, and share as part of a interactive course discussion the responses and talk about them. So in this case, this is one of the ones where it's aligned. Now, moving forward, we go into the practice and action feature. Expectations, how should humans live? As a reminder, when you go to the end, and it was, for instance, page 63, 63 for tribal religions in the 4th edition. For African religions, it would be in the 4th edition, page 97. And just as a note, it has in that seeking answers, how should we live in this world? Just as an example here, many African religions emphasize the importance of caring and respecting the living and deceased members of one's family, the necessity of maintaining beneficial relationships with the beings of the spirit world, and the importance of harmony with the natural order. Because most African religions do not focus on reward or punishment in the afterlife, religious practices does not necessarily center around preparing for an afterlife. Instead, rituals and ceremonies focus on improving life in this world. And so right there, does that little tidbit that even before reading other parts of the chapters, both chapters talk a little bit about like environmentalism and go more in depth into this, but did that little bit tell us something about the roles towards earth, animals, people, and the dead? All right, so it's another note area. As you'll find when we move through different religions, there will be a lot of different note areas or very specific note areas. These 2 chapters, because they offer so many different religions within them, or spiritual traditions, if you will, I want to see how and what interests you as you go through and read them. All right, rituals are formed around beliefs of the tribe or religion culture. Often these rituals correspond with each other in understanding the transitions of life, birth, death, marriage, changes to the tribe or environment, and understanding how the world works. So I also did give you an example here within the workbook, the story of the sacred pipe. This is one of my favorite stories. Part of it is because of not a pipe, but a flute that came together for me. So I actually traveled for 4 years. I think it's 4 years that I traveled around on Native American powwow circuit with my friend Steve Longbeard. And we got to go to so many different powwows in Florida, got up to Georgia, got over to Alabama, didn't work it, but attended one in Cherokee. Many adventures, and they were a lot of fun. But one of the things I received or purchased, it was kind of like a mixture of bartering, trading, and then more bartering and trading beyond that. And it was for a Native American flute, double flute. I do not have it in the camper. It is in storage right now. And I purchased a flute, half cash, half was massage trade. But what's really important about wasn't the flute, it was the bag for the flute, which came and included leather from a cow. It included deer bones, turtle shell, all types of different things. And it was put together by about at least 15 different vendors were involved with the making of this. And then it was presented to me at a trade blanket, because there were some trades I was going to have to do, such as like serving. When I worked for my friend Steve Longbeard, I basically, it was a food vending. So we had buffalo or bison chili. Oh, so good. We had venison stew. Amazing. Fry bread, buffalo burgers, handful of other things. And so all these items that came together for the flute bag were traded at the trade blanket. The trade blanket was a place. Wow, I have too many stories here. I apologize for long tangents. I used to go on them occasionally in the classroom, and going on them online is a little bit different. Suffice to say, the idea was all the different things that got put into this bag were designed to make it to where whenever I played the flute, that I played it with the animals that were part of the bag, with the people who provided the sewing, the items, and it was to connect me with community, both human, animal, and with a place and time that was really fun and really amazing. All right, so I'm going to stop with that story. If you want to know more, just let me know. Anyway, so in this story, it talks about how the bowl, the pipe, the entire components of the pipe are sacred. From images carved into it to the stone that's used, the wood that's used, the feathers that come down, the leather. And when somebody smokes with the pipe, they're smoking with all the things that made that pipe. All the four-leggeds, all the birds, the winged brothers who live among you. All things are joined together. And so when all things are joined together, when the pipe is smoked, as it says, we'll send the voices to Wankantanka. When you use this pipe to pray, you will pray for and with everything. So, really special, really amazing. It ends with, "From this day, the sacred pipe will stand on the red earth, and you will send your voices to Ankh and Tonka. There are 7 circles on the stone, which represent the 7 rites in which you will use the pipe." So task number 4. Oh, by the way, real quick, I did you the seasons. When do the rituals occur? If you remember from early on, rituals tend to be tied to cycles. Here's a way to show me when those cycles occur for the Gagaju, such as, when is it that they light the fires? All right. So task 4, by the way, you can use the same ritual as an example. Well, not really, because I'm asking you for Native American, but we'll come back to that for a second. Task 4, what is one ritual of a Native American tribe? What is one ritual of an African tribe? All right, so real quick, go over here. Here we were on the one discussion. Well, when we go to the next discussion, there we go, right there. Oh my gosh, it says rituals and practices. All right, so the summary that you're providing, provide a detailed summary of one rite, holy day, worship practice of a tribal religion. So you can use, let me go back there, any Native American ritual, an African tribe ritual. You can use the ritual you used for the Gagaju. This is another example of alignment of tasks. The task is aligned with the discussion. Provide a summary. You may choose any African tribe, Native American tribe, the Gagaju. If you do use an example that comes from beyond the textbook or the workbook or lecture, then you do need to give me the link, the URL, the resource that you are using. All right, so that's going in a little bit further, and I know this has been a slightly longer video, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it now.